Senator Nenadi Usman, a former minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, emphasized the importance of effective government policies in creating billionaires, drawing on examples from President Obasanjo's administration. During the Obasanjo's tenure, a shift occurred that focused on wealth creation and employment generation through strategic government intervention. Here's a video as she shares more insights in an interview with Cameroon Radio Television's Globe Watch on Africa's economic growth.
Now, let's talk Nigeria. You were the finance minister of Nigeria. First, you were the minister of state for finance when Ngozi Muela-Ogunjumbi was minister of finance, now the director general of World Trade Organization.
Yes.
And then later you replaced her as Nigeria's finance minister, possibly the first female minister from the north of the country, if I'm not wrong. And if I'm wrong, you are going to correct me. Today, the Nigerian economy is probably not in the best of the waters. What is wrong and how can that be corrected when you look at the macro and the microeconomic dynamics of the country?
First, I would want to say that when the PDP-led government under President Olusegun Obasanjo took power from the military, at that time, yes, it was General Abdusalami Abubakar, His Excellency. He was the head of state at that time. When General Obasanjo took over, he basically looked at the micro and the macroeconomic situation of Nigeria and decided that for the first 4 years, he was going to globetrot, go around the world, seek to talk to those who Nigeria was indebted to, because we had a huge debt then. And he did that. At the end of it, we had a good song to sing, because by the time he came in for his second tenure, we had negotiated. Ngozi and I had then come into the Ministry of Finance, and Ngozi did a lot, having been a World Bank staff herself. So the president was able to, President Obasanjo then was able to get us some of the debt waived off. The ones who were to pay back, we paid back, and at that time we became debt-free. Because the Paris
Club and all others.
Thank you. We became debt-free. And by being debt-free, it meant that when we went to Fitch, S&P for rating, our economy was rated with a BB-, which was very excellent.
Standard & Poor's?
Yes, Standard & Poor's. And Fitch. These two rating agents rated us as BB-. And it was good. So we laid a good foundation. Aside from that, the president felt there is no need for us to have any strong man. It's good for us to have strong institutions. So he looked at the institutions that we had on ground. Those that we needed to strengthen, we strengthened. Where we were lacking, we set them up. We looked at the acts that set up some of the institutions and had to go to the parliament for amendment. So some of the institutions that he felt we needed at that time were institutions that would fight corruption. Like we had the NATI, the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. That was to look at oil and gas that that is extracted and leaves the country, solid minerals that are extracted and leave. What happens? Because sometimes
the Federal Economic Crimes Commission.
Thank you. EFCC, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. We also had the ICPC, and all those institutions were put in place to make sure that if you are corrupt and you are caught, you will be punished to serve as a deterrent.
What you mean to tell me today is that those institutions are probably not working well. That is
they are not working well anymore.
That is why the economy is probably in need.
Thank you.
And so the solution will simply mean to retain strong institutions with very weak people.
And each time you have an institution, after a certain time, you have to tweak it. You have to look at it, rejig it, and make sure that you strengthen it. Aside from that, what Obasanjo did again was to introduce a set of reforms which we call the NEEDS. NEEDS.
Meaning?
The National Economic Empowerment and Development Strategy.
Okay.
And he encouraged the states, because we have 36 states, he encouraged the states to develop theirs, which we called the SEEDs. So it's now States Economic Empowerment and Development Strategies. We have 774 local government areas, and he encouraged them each to have theirs, which we call the leads. And all that, the goals were: 1, wealth creation; 2, employment generation; 3, poverty reduction; and 4, value reorientation. And with that, we set a firm foundation for our economy to be built on, and it did well. Now, if you remember, Nigeria had an overhang where people were working, and when they retire as pensioners, they were not being able to be paid. He felt that was a huge problem, because that also could encourage corruption. If you know that when you retire, you'll be left with nothing, you would want to steal while on the job.
So a pension scheme was established?
Yes, we had a pension reform.
Amongst one of the many things credited for the Obasanjo years, and which you were part, is the emergence of what they call in Nigeria today, and even in the rest of Africa, even globally, the Nigerian Billionaires Club.
Yes.
Aliko Dangote, Fula Rousseau, Dangote being the world's richest black person.
Yes.
Yeah. All these people, Tony Elumelu, Rubio, Adenuga, are Nigerian billionaires created by the Obasanjo presidency.
Yes.
Amongst the key policy makers, Nenadi, Usman, finance minister at the time. I just want you to give me a snap picture of how that decision was made by the government to produce the billionaires.
Thank you. President Obasanjo at that time, as a fallout of the needs, I told you we had the needs reform, wealth creation, employment generation. He decided that, how about if he picks a minimum of 5 people, creates the enabling environment for them to go into businesses. Meanwhile, we de-emphasize government being in business, because government has no business being in business. What government should do is to be a policy creation organization, where you create the right policies, work out the right, create an enabling ground, a level playing field, help people to develop and take over businesses. And those billionaires were created using government policies, and the intention is for them to further go back, create employment,
How
create
did it
wealth.
even happen?
And
did you hold a meeting with them? Did you take money and give them, this
No.
is money? Did you detax them? What actually happened?
What happened was, the president called them, and each of them, he asked them, I know you are doing this and this in this area. Like Dangote, for example, he was into commodities. Okay, if you are into commodities, sugar, flour, and all those things that people eat on a daily, cement, people use on a daily basis, what can we do to help you so that your business will grow far bigger, so that you can employ more people? And you know, I said it at the beginning, the more people you have employed, the more revenue goes to government by way of taxes. Okay. Even consumption, the more people are employed and have money to buy stuff, government gets a part of it, and they now can use it to do whatever they want to do, to provide amenities and all that. Yeah. So the president now went one by one, spoke to them, and the enabling environment for them to become what they are today was put in place. Some, it was tax holidays. Some, it was by import prohibition of products that they were producing.
Okay.
Others, it was to jack up the duties, so that if you want to import, say beer, for example, if you were to import beer into Nigeria, the custom duty attached to it will make your beer so expensive that it's better for you to buy beers from Nigeria breweries.
And those in the banking sector, like Elumelu, what happened to them?
What
like,
we did
was
we looked at the act, the Central Bank Act. We had amendments. There was what we call the banking capitalization, where the capital base of the bank was jacked up. So banks that were too small and couldn't meet up that had to merge. And you know, the bigger the size of your business, the more your profit, because we are not looking at you
and the
making,
larger the size of the
that
market.
is it, at the market. We are not looking at you making one huge bullet profit in one thing, but we are looking at you making small profit from over 200 million people. And if you look at economies of scale and you also look at turnover, if you are making 1 naira from 1 million people a day, you know that's 100 million. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But if you want to make 50,000 from only 2 people a day, that's 100,000.